The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Money, 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 money! Money! The NHL salary cap is going up by a lot over the next couple of years, and it's making me happy, and it's also making me sad. Like, what if Miller and Pettersson at those dollar amounts played up to their potential, okay? We'd be good for a couple of years. How about paying Quinn Hughes $20 million? You know what? Let's talk about it on today's episode of Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's giving you another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. Yes, Kyle Bowen. Trevor Beggs will be joining us in a couple of minutes. And again, this is the show that gives you your Canucks every single day, every single minute. There's a good chance you may see us on the postgame show tonight. Maybe not. We play the Dallas Stars at 5 o'clock. I got a couple of activities I got to participate in. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're here now. And we're here now because of you and you and you and you, and also because of Gametime, okay? Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. And man, oh man, $20 doesn't sound like a lot, but how about almost $20 million of increased salary cap usage over the next 3 years? And what does that mean for your Vancouver Canucks? What does that mean for JT Miller and Elias Pettersson? Man, oh man, the more I think about it, I wish those two could get along and play up to their potential, because they would be bargains for the long run. And you kind of need that bargain and that money being used wisely, because sooner than later, man, oh man, you're going to have to give Quinn Hughes the max. Yes, the max. I'm guaranteeing it right now. If this guy gets better and better and better, and I know people might think this is selfish, but yo, you got to keep this guy away from his brothers, from his family. Man, oh man, you're going to have to pay him Connor McDavid money, okay? Whatever Connor McDavid signs for next year when he's eligible for an extension, or is he eligible for an extension July 1st this year? Anyways, whatever dollar amount that is, I'm saying it right now, Quinn Hughes either matches that or surpasses that, considering, again, that the salary cap, Trevor, I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you, it's going way, way, way up.
Yeah, well, that projection of going up about, $20 million over the next 3 years, even if we round that down, right, cap's at 88.5 right now. Let's just say the cap goes up to $105 million. Some of the best players in the league, they usually get somewhere around 15% of the salary cap. So based on that math, Quinn Hughes' next contract would be around $15.75 million per season, almost doubling what his brother Jack is making right now. So,
but hey, Trevor, you said
Hughes the bag.
You said some of the best players. How about the best players? Like the best players. Like Quinn Hughes, if he gets better and better and better, I have no problem saying that, again, he's going to stay in that territory. It's going to be McDavid, Draisaitl, Makar, McKinnon, Quinn Hughes, and Quinn Hughes is going to be eligible. And again, if he gets better and better, and let's say McDavid, I don't know what the max salary per player can be in a couple of years. Maybe McDavid already knows that amount. Maybe he can make $17 to $20 million. I wonder if Quinn Hughes is a $17 million player. Like, he's so damn good, bro. He's so damn lethal. And you got to keep him away from his family, man. I know Matt said it in the comments, more money, more problems. But man, oh man, the Canucks are going to have to do a lot to keep Quinn Hughes. And he deserves it too, bro. He's so good. He's so good. Like, one of the best athletes in North America right now. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the highest paid player in hockey, or again, matches McDavid's amount.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to do the math on McDavid. So when McDavid signed his contract, $12.5 million a season, the salary cap was $79.5 million at the time. So that was 16% of the salary cap hit. So if you want to do that math, that would mean Quinn Hughes would make, if he got 16% of the salary cap hit at $105 million, $16.8 million per season.
Damn, oh damn. And like, isn't the salary cap again? I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you. Like, in like a handful of years, is it going up to like $116 million? Like, what did Elliot Friedman like tweet out today? It just seemed as if the numbers were extravagant. And also, Beggsy, I'm going to bounce out of here because I'm lagging a bit on the video feed. But again, just tell the listeners, like, what did Elliot Friedman tweet out?
Yep. So basically, the reporting that came out today, and this is above what even the math I was doing. Salary cap is expected to jump to $95.5 million next season, and then in 2027-28, which seems like a long ways away, but that's only 2.5, 3 seasons from now. That salary cap is expected to be $113.5 million So Kyle, based on those numbers, man, oh man, you want to have a bit of fun with Quinn Hughes and what he could make? If he made 16% of the salary cap, that would be over $18 million per season. And Kyle, to go back to your original point about Elias Pettersson and JT Miller, Kyle, I said it at the time. I mean, based on when Elias Pettersson signed that contract, he didn't take a discount, but I didn't feel like it was a ripoff based on the first line point per game player we'd seen. I mean, he signed at market value. But what we said at the time was that as the salary cap goes up, that contract is going to look better and better, again, with the caveat that he had to stay at his current level, which he has not done in almost 12 months. But that's beside the point, because based on what he signed for, based on the player that he was, not the player that he is right now, that contract was going to look like a steal. And it looks even more like a steal, or would look even more like a steal, if the salary cap goes up to the levels that we're hearing from Elliot Friedman out there.
Yeah, well, man, oh man, can somebody live up to his potential? Because I just feel as if you're gonna pay one player the absolute max, again, Quinn Hughes deserves it. You need, and I said this a couple days ago, you need all your other guys, okay, all your other guys playing at the value of their contract at bare minimum, and having some people, play above it. And again, Pettersson, I think according to like J Fresh Hockey, he's doing his projections, and he's saying, okay, like based on that contract in a couple of years, that $11.6 million contract is actually like a $9 million contract. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And that looks like it's a smaller amount, but is Pettersson even playing up to a $9 million player standard right now? No, he isn't. So he's got to level up. A lot is going on here, but at the end of the day, these, like, even Miller too, like, he's not looking like an $8 million player. Like, there's got to be improvement in whatever happens here. We trade one, we trade both, we keep both. Who knows? We play tonight. We go in 4 straight games. This is just the most bizarre season ever. At the end of the day, you're only saving money or looking good on the books if these guys can play up to their value. And if they're not playing up to their value, and you don't think they can ever get back to playing up to their value, whether it be 11.6 or $9 million for Pettersson, or $8 million for Miller, or $6.4 million for Miller, like, based on all this math, if they're not, you got to let go of them so you can sign Quinn Hughes to that $18 million deal, because you can win with Quinn Hughes. You can establish culture with Quinn Hughes. And again, this money is just making me think. It really is. Like, it's been such a bizarre week this week in Canuckland, and it's ironic how the week ends with again $113 million of salary cap usage potentially down the road. That's a lot of irony this week for Vancouver Canucks fans.
Yeah, and again, I think Canuck fans all have this fear in terms of, if Quinn Hughes doesn't want to be here, is he going to go play with his brothers in New Jersey? And just taking a look at the Devils cap sheet, they'd have the room to do it, man. And again, any team would, based on the amount that the salary cap is going to go up by. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The primary goal for the Vancouver Canucks, keep Quinn Hughes happy at all costs. I mean, if this guy wants a personal butt massager sent to his condo after every game,
no. You know what? No.
No.
You don't do that. Okay, athletes these days. Again, you saw Justin Tucker with the ball, allegedly, Deshaun Watson-esque. Okay, no massage therapist. No, none of that stuff. Okay, come on. Okay, but here's the thing. It's just scary. It's just scary. Okay, you just. I don't think it's the money for Quinn Hughes that's going to keep him here. I think it's the winning. Okay, he's an uber talent. He's uber competitive. Even with the whole Leon Draisaitl thing last year, like, if they don't make the Stanley Cup Finals, I don't think Leon Draisaitl's and McDavid are like, yeah, let's sign 8-year extensions. Like, they needed that taste. They needed that crowd noise. They needed that playing hockey in June environment. Like, Quinn Hughes is going to need the same thing, because at the end of the day, he would definitely take a discount to play with his brothers. And bro, they're all going to share their money anyways. Like, they're literally brothers, not like friends. They're blood brothers. Okay. The 3 Hughes brothers are going to make, like, at one point, not too far down the road, like $30 million a year playing hockey. You know what I'm saying? Collectively, you could say. So money's not going to be a problem. It's got to be the whole winning thing. And I'm sorry, it goes back to the whole, like, Miller Pettersson thing. And I wonder if the news today makes Rutherford and Alvin not second guess themselves, but does it send them to church so they can start praying that these two can get along? Because, man, oh man, best case scenario, again, it's damn near impossible now. Rutherford did touch on that, like, we can't save this relationship. But man, oh man, again, if these two could play to their value and do their thing, and be bargoons for the Vancouver Canucks and help this team win. Because, if you're saving money on those guys and you can bring other pieces in to help Quinn Hughes win, that's going to be the most appetizing thing, for real, for Quinn Hughes to stick around. Like the max dollars and all that I feel like that's one card we can play. But again, I'm not convinced that it's all about the money for Quinn Hughes. Like, his family's pretty loaded, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, money is not a problem. That, they got money. They got money.
Yeah, his dad working for the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously being in pro hockey circles, his mom a pro athlete. You're right. Money ain't the issue with Quinn Hughes. I think the guy wants to leave a legacy and he wants to win, right?
Yeah.
And can't do that with the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, I still think there's a chance, Cal. So you're saying there's a chance. And we've said time and time again, I think with Miller and Pettersson, the best solution for the Canucks is for them just to pull their heads out of their rear ends and figure this out, right? Pettersson put the work in. JT, again, a pretty intense guy, but be more of a team player instead of an individual and stop trying to play hero puck, which he's done. He started to slip back into his game, just kind of like we saw in past seasons. JT even said it when he was asked about the comments shortly after that you got to play as a 5-man group when you're out there. I mean, JT says the right things to the media for the most part. It seems like he gets it. But can that translate into more on-ice success, less individualism, more cohesiveness? Because the Canucks look like a far thing from a team right now. And again, they're going to get a good test tonight when they play a Dallas Stars team who is, an actual hockey team, not a bunch of individuals throwing the puck around.
Yeah, and a team going through their injury bug scenario too, right? No Heiskanen, no Sagan. I think they're missing a couple more pieces today. Like, in theory, today's a winnable game, but as Thatcher Demko alluded to, they're gonna need another connected effort. And with all this noise surrounding the Canucks, and it's not just us; it's everyone talking about this. It's Rutherford talking about it. Even late last night, it's like, oh, watch out, Columbus is making a push for Pettersson, all this jazz, and now we got this salary cap information. It's. I'm not gonna say it's making my head hurt, but it's making me want to do math. Like, it really is. Like, what could they do with this money? What could they do if they get rid of one of these guys? Even when we texted all this news in the group chat, Uncle Ricky said it, right? Like, he's like, no, you got to get rid of these. You got to make sure you have, because I don't think Ricky believes that the Canucks are going to win in like the next couple of years. So he just wants the checkbook to be open, the revenue to be the budget to be open, because he only believes that, again, Quinn Hughes is going to stay in Vancouver because it's going to be like a $20 million deal. That's the only way to do it. Which, honestly, Trevor, I know this sounds kind of crazy, but considering the salary cap is going up so much in a couple of years, I would still sign Quinn Hughes to $20 million a year. I'm just so convinced that he's one of the best players ever. I've said it before, in 50 years, we're going to be sitting around a campfire, Trevor. We're going to be like, holy crap. Like, Quinn Hughes is Scott Niedermayer-esque. Champion, doing his thing.
Oh, he's
one
above
of the best.
That. Yeah.
What above that? He's just so damn good. He's about to win his second Norris. Maybe he gets a couple more. He's Nick Lidstrom. I know he's got to win Stanley Cups, but I believe this guy's going to be a champion, and I would pay him the most. And before we get to the other side, Trevor, I know the Oilers didn't win the Stanley Cup, but I do think paying the max or close to the max with the salary cap going up for one or two players still allows you a lot of room to win the Stanley Cup if you have the absolute best of the best. Like, we're not going to use that term lightly. If you have a top 5 player in the league, which Quinn Hughes is, it's okay to pay the guy the most. Because some people are going to look at that and be like, okay, that's selfish. Dude, it's Quinn effing Hughes, man. He just, I don't know what to say. He deserves it, man. He works harder than anyone else. You can see, like, in the offseason too, takes care of his body, reading all those books. He's so in tune with winning. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, you've seen that happen with the Colorado Avalanche. Look at McCarr and McKinnon. Pittsburgh Penguins did with Crosby and Malkin. Those are cup teams that have won the Stanley Cup. And the Edmonton Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl, again, they probably should be up there one day. But dear God, let's hope that Quinn Hughes and the brothers here in the Vancouver Canucks might get the brother and back together and get it done before the Edmonton Oilers. Kyle, let's cut to the other side here, talk a bit about the game tonight, winning streak on the line, and let's take a look at the rest of the Western Conference and Pacific Division as well, because there's some interesting things happening over the last little bit. Let's get a couple comments as well. I've seen a couple good ones pop up. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back after shouting at our friends over at Gametime. All right. Attending games, man. Sports is what it's all about, okay? NFL games, NHL games. Man, oh man, some of my best memories are attending sporting events, okay? Seahawks season opener, watching Kyle get the Canucks crowd pumped up on the Jumbotron with the dance moves. Kyle, I wish I could dance like you, buddy, but you can only get those moments at sporting events, okay? And the best way to go see sports is getting those tickets on Gametime, okay? They got that lowest price guarantee, and they got a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One love to the people watching this on YouTube and listening to us on the podcast side of things. If you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're watching this right now, the live YouTube stream, like hit the like button right now. Okay? Save a life. What? Save a life? Make a life. Okay, it's about to snow this weekend. Someone needs snow tires. All right? Hit the like button. I can get snow tires. And again, save a life. You see what I did there? Do the math. Anyways. The Canucks, they play tonight. How about we start talking about the future, right? They play Dallas tonight. They're, again, 1 point behind the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames, quote-unquote, getting better. They make a trade yesterday, getting who did they get? Frost and Fat. How do you say the guy's other guy's name?
Joel Farabee.
Farabee, okay. Boom, bam. They're making moves, doing their thing. Supposedly fleece the Flames, all that jazz. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights. They just signed Brendan Saad. 1 year, $1.5 million. Boom, bam. Again, like I said, must-win territory tonight. Thatcher Demko and net. What do you think about all that, Trevor Beggs?
Yeah, I mean, again, interesting stuff happening around the Pacific, but looking at the game tonight, it's here's a glass half full take. I mean, you look at the Dallas Stars and the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously, the Dallas Stars a tier above the Vancouver Canucks. But it's interesting looking at the records. The Dallas Stars 32-17-1. They have the same amount as regulation losses as the Vancouver Canucks. How about them apples, buddy? But yeah, I mean, overall, the Dallas Stars have won 7 more games in regulation than the Vancouver Canucks. They've also, they've won 4 games in overtime as well. So their regulation and overtime wins. They have 8 more regulation and overtime wins than the Vancouver Canucks. So again, the Vancouver Canucks, they left points on the board, but they're also just not playing fantastic hockey, right? I mean, even against Nashville the other night, they come out flying in the first period and then sit back for 40 minutes. And, Nashville had some good snipers. Thatcher Demko won the team that game. Have they announced who's starting tonight? I believe they said they're keeping the same lineup. I'm not sure if that included Demko starting or Lankinen starting.
I don't know. I just saw a tweet. I saw a tweet from Dan Murphy. He's like, don't quote me on this, but it looks like Thatcher Demko starting tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's plugged in, okay? So
yeah, and Demko in his career against the Dallas Stars has, it's one of those teams where Demko's had their number. I'm trying to pull up the stats on it right now, but I mean, based on what Demko did in the last game, and there should be some hesitation about him playing consecutive games in a row because that hasn't been great for him this season. But I do wonder if something changed for Thatcher Demko in the last game against the Nashville Predators. I mean, again, I didn't love the first goal. He was kind of out swimming, but just made so many incredible saves in the second and third period to keep the Canucks in that game and preserve the victory. And now he's playing a Dallas Stars team tonight who he is 7-0-1 against in his NHL career with a .931 save percentage. I'm taking a quick look. That might be, aside from the lowly Chicago Blackhawks, I believe that's the best save percentage he has against any NHL team. And that, in fact, is the case. So, I mean, it's got Dallas's number. Again, I'm not going to maybe call it a must-win game, Kyle. That would certainly help the group. And, you'd like to see them continue this streak on. But Dallas is a good team. They're much better than the teams that we've seen in the past on this win streak. So,
and yeah, bro, not to sound like Leon Draisaitl, but yeah, Demko sounded really good. But I'm pretty sure Nashville hit 3 posts in that game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's Demko's fault. That's like the Canucks were doing nothing in the last 2 periods of that game. They just went back to being the Canucks. But all that being said, I hope that the news is true and that Demko does get the start because the Vancouver Canucks, they need a bit of magic. right? They need a bit of leadership from a core piece. And Demko being the backup isn't supplying the maximum amount of leadership this team needs right now. Like, they need him being an alpha. And I know a couple days ago we're like, oh, Lankinen beat Demko. It's over. We need Lankinen. We need points. It is what it is. But if Demko can build off of this, then again, we're seeing this ESPN 30 for 30 documentary made on the Canucks this season slowly come to fruition. Because again, they need an alpha. They need a captain. They need a stoic. They need a dressing room guy. And we know Demko has that calmness about him. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He just gets to work. And I want it to work out for him. I really do. Is Jake Ottinger healthy? Is he playing on the other side? Boom, bam. If that's the case, it's kind of like a big matchup for the guy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say a lot of noise surrounding Demko. Actually, it's been quite quiet on Demko. Like, people are like, oh, this guy's fragile. This guy's never going to be healthy again. He's never going to be the same again. And now he's facing Jake Ottinger, the Four Nations All-Star Charity Tournament just around the corner. Like, I just want the best for Demko. And if the Canucks are going to make some noise and make the playoffs, I have more faith in Demko regaining his form than I do Pettersson and Miller. I do. Just based on energy and personality trait.
And the work ethic too, right? Like, Thatcher Demko was putting in the work. And that's what you want to see, right? And, you know, we obviously, we talked about it yesterday. Pettersson reportedly has not put in the work. JT Miller, I don't want to say this guy's not putting the work because he plays with such intensity, but I think sometimes that intensity gets the better of him. And it can be a detriment to both his team and his teammates. So I would agree with you, Kyle. I think in terms of Miller, Pettersson, and Demko, who bounces back to their peak form most, I think you should have confidence in Demko, which really says something. Okay, we're talking about a guy who some people call him made of glass, and we have more confidence in Demko getting back to his peak form than we do Pettersson and Miller. And hopefully I'm wrong on that. I hope they all get back to their peak form, because if the Canucks want to be a Stanley Cup contender, that's probably what they need.
Again, one step at a time for me. I'm kind of off that whole, like, the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup this year, but I do want them to make the playoffs. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what do you mean that? Look at their draft position. It's going to change. What's the point of being bounced in the first round? Dude, like, again, I'll keep saying this. Quinn Hughes needs playoff experience. Let's just start there. So let's get Quinn Hughes in the playoffs, okay? And we're chasing the Flames, the Kings now, kind of passing the Blues and the Utah Hockey Club, or the Washita, or whatever they're going to be called, or the Utah Mammoths, or what? Anyways, we can get the job done with what?
Yeah, the Utah Maggots.
The Utah Maggots. What? They got maggots out there? Okay, anyways, Demko and Hughes can get the job done. And, bro, we didn't even bring this up. I'm trying to be positive here. I'm trying to be optimistic today, okay? Demko does regain his form. He is back. Boom, bam, do the math. This is not good news for Archer Shelovs, but maybe you can create that 1-2 punch longer. Lankin and Demko. 4 or 5 years down the road, maybe you can afford Demko. Who knows? Who knows? I sound crazy right now, but money, making me think. And I just really want Demko to come back to form. He deserves it, man. He deserves it. And, you know, you brought up the fact that he's one of the hardest working players on the team. Let him set the example, right? If he comes back to form and the dressing room's like, oh, look at this guy. He pulled off a miracle. How did he do it? Oh, because he's working harder than Elias Pettersson. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have taken that shot.
Man, what happened to positivity, man? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
A little bit more, a couple notes before we cut to break here and get to some comments. The Dallas Stars have won 4 of their last 5 games, with the only loss in those 5 games being a tight 2-1 loss to the Carolina Hurricanes. Most of these games have been relatively low scoring, except for the games against the Golden Knights. The Stars have beat the Golden Knights 4-3 twice in the past week and change here. So again, we're looking at a Stars team right now, despite the injuries. I mean, they're going to play without Miro Heiskanen, Mason Marchment also out, Tyler Seguin has been on injured reserve since early December. So they're missing a couple key pieces, but this is a deep Stars team with good goaltending, and not a team that the Canucks can take lightly, or else they will not win this game tonight. Last thing I got to bring up, the LA Kings. LA Kings are really slotting right now, 2-7-1 in their last 10 games.
Thank you.
Struggling to score goals, which is a problem because they defend pretty darn well. And, you know, you look at the standings right now, the Canucks, they are 2 points back of the Los Angeles Kings. I mean, the Kings would have, let's take another look at it. The Kings would have to do 2 games in hand after tonight, but the Canucks could theoretically tie the LA Kings in points with a win tonight over the Dallas Stars.
Huge. It's a must-win game. Step up, block out the noise. I keep saying this too, man. You think I care about Trevor and my career, our SEO, or people like the blood, right? If it bleeds, it leads. All this stuff, bro. Put us out of business. Pettersson and Miller, put us out of business. Okay, give us nothing to talk about. End this podcast. End our careers. Just keep winning games. Tonight's a must-win. Okay, road to April starts every day, and then again, in Dallas tonight. Let's pick up 4 straight wins. I'm down for it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Okay, no ad read for me. Let's cut to break here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day, and pick some of the best comments of the day on the other side.
Okay, we back. Doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks, still all over the place. Okay, we're only human beings. Okay, we're trying to be positive. 3-game winning streak. Still giving some criticism out, but it is what it is. Okay. Anyways, Bagsy, second best dad in the world, joining me like always. Again, hit the like button. It really does help us out a lot. Oh, a whole bunch of new subscribers too. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, if you just like follow the channel but don't subscribe, it is what it is. Maybe that's the way you float your boat. But again, a subscription does go a long way for the show in general. Speaking about the show, let's get to some comments and questions, okay? It's all about you and you and you and you. Look at this comment from Dan Jardine, okay? He's saying that Kyle is smoking the copium. I don't know what copium is. What is that? And then he's like, and then he gets a shot in on Petey to break the spell, okay? I was being optimistic about Demko, and then I brought Pettersson into the mix in the equation. All I'm saying is, like, work ethic is everything, and leadership is everything. You got to lead by example. Like, I know, I feel like this is such a young team and a team that still has some of their best players having a little bit of ego. And yeah, from a close vantage point, you can see that Demko's working his ass off. But until he gets back to form, it's just one of those things like that saying that winning fixes everything, blah, 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 or you're just as good as your last performance. If Demko comes back to form, then he's going to set the tone to a guy like Pettersson. Like work ethic matters. All those details matter. And I know there's some people that hit us in the comments of our last episode when we were criticizing Pettersson and the rumors that Begsy was hearing about him being one of the worst in shape players at camp this season. And some people were like, oh, like Pettersson doesn't need to have a 6-pack. He doesn't have the biggest arms in the world. Like some players don't need to have that. We're not saying that. But Rutherford and Alvin are, and Tocchet are. Not specifically to like the 6-pack and whatnot, but he just needs to get faster. He needs to get more agile. He needs to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like he needs to ramp it up. And Demko could be an example for a lot of people in that dressing room.
Yeah, okay. A couple of things there, Fal. First, the definition of copium. For those who don't know, shout out to Jan Jardine, OG commenter here. Copium, a substance said to have been ingested by those who remain unduly optimistic in the face of defeat or disappointment.
Okay.
So there you go. I also got a good comment from Dan Jardine here saying, I hope Demmer is running into form. A Demko and Lankinen duo could be our best since Luongo and Schneider. And man, Kyle and I were definitely getting drunk off the blue and green earlier this season talking about Shelovs and Demko potentially having that Swayman Allmark energy. But now we've seen Shelovs obviously take a bit of a step back, not quite be ready for the big time like we thought he was. But Kevin Lankinen, not only is he ready for the big time, he is, aside from Quinn Hughes, been the second biggest savior of the Canucks season so far. And if Demko does round back into form and they keep Kevin Lankinen for the rest of the season, I think there's not much doubt in my mind that they could be one of the best goaltending duos in hockey.
Oh, 100%. And, goaltending makes everything easier, And for a young team that's still inexperienced with winning, like you need that goaltending. Anyways, next comment. Damn, some people coming at us too. I brought it up. Like, oh, I don't know if the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup this year, but I'm happy with them making the playoffs because Quinn Hughes needs that experience and blah blah blah. Let's just get there. Let's get to the playoffs again. Let's keep building playoff performances and stacking them up before we win the cup. And Andrew, earlier he said, a good goaltender can get you to the cup final, and he's also asking like, what place was St. Louis when they won the cup? Even I think Zarfi was asking what place was Florida in a couple of years ago when they made the cup final against Vegas, right? It's possible. Don't get me wrong. I know. But until I see it consistently, there is some doubt there with Miller and Pettersson. Like, I don't know what type of players we're getting game in and game out. And we have yet to see this season. And we played a lot of hockey already. It's like game 51 today, I think. Or is it game 50? Game 51, I believe.
Yeah, tonight would be game 51.
Have we seen more than 5 games where these two are just on their game? Like, we haven't seen the optimal Canucks yet. And I don't know if we are. I don't know if we are, but we have enough to finish 8th because we're chasing Calgary.
Yeah, 100%. And again, with St. Louis in 2018-19, they actually rocketed up to 3rd in the Central Division that season, tied with the Winnipeg Jets in points, but 3rd overall in division. But if you want to look at the standings at January 31st of the 2019 season, so 6 years ago today, St. Louis was 4th worst in the conference. So what is that? 11th overall in the Western Conference. So look, I mean, there's certainly still a chance, and I said it before, man. It wasn't the most popular episode, but can the Canucks go on a Cinderella-like run? I mean, there's the possibility to do so because they have some of the best star power in the NHL, and what's going on right now is mental. It's not physical. I mean, certainly the team's had injuries, but I mean, look, when he's playing with one hand, he's still one of the best 5 players on the planet. But what's the main issue with the team right now isn't injury-based. It is mental. And if the Stars can figure it out mentally, this team, I could see them being a Cinderella team.
How though? Like, again, like, I feel as if the only way that is possible for them to figure this out mentally is, again, some team bonding stuff. I'm not talking about ayahuasca or mushrooms. I don't like this team. Again, I'm like, excuse me. I feel like there's an 85% chance that everything changed for this team when they hung out with Michael Bublé and they did microdoses, but they accumulated so much microdoses that it was actually like a normal dose of mushrooms or just like an over-exceeding amount of mushrooms. And Trevor, like, we've been down that path. Like, sometimes you don't need to go there. Especially competitive athletes. Like, I feel as if I was a competitive athlete, I would not want to do mushrooms straight up. Because you need that edge. You don't need to see everything from like the way we're supposed to act and the sensitive side of life. I'm just being serious. All in all, where am I going with this? Oh yeah. I feel as if the only thing that can bond this team together is a good party, a good dinner, a good talk. You know, the Amsterdam Cafe. I don't know. Okay, one of those things. And until we see that or hear about that, I don't know. You think they can find it in practice and winning? I don't know. Man,
I don't know. Maybe they should just meet up with Michael Bublé and reverse the curse.
No, Michael Bublé. No Michael Bublé anymore, man. We don't need Bublé here. I'm sorry.
That's too funny. Okay, let's get one of the last comments here. I got 2 here from Oliver Sholnick in the comments. First, he's saying Torts is gonna love Kuzmenko. I mean, Kuzmenko, man, oh man, the fall of Andrei Kuzmenko. Not one of the most interesting stories in the NHL, but certainly something that makes you raise your eyebrow. And yeah, I can't see that being a fun fit for Andrei Kuzmenko. That guy's back to Russia after this season. It has to be. And then final comment to Oliver Sholnick as well. Hughes bringing the first Stanley Cup to Vancouver and a first to Canada in a while is bigger than playing with his brothers. Now,
you tell him that. Oliver, tell him that. Tell him that, bro. Tell him. Send that mail to his apartment. I'm pretty sure they showed the hockey world where he lives on Amazon Prime. So just send it there, okay?
Yeah. What do you think, though? Do you think that's true to Quinn Hughes?
Okay. I got to go real soon. My homie's at the door, but I'll ramble for one more minute and let Trevor close out the show. But you know, yesterday I called out Quinn Hughes for like potentially playing in the Four Nations Cup, right? And then I thought about it some more. I'm like, yo, I'm so negative, man. Like, stop being an asshole, okay? Maybe Quinn Hughes, like, not maybe. This guy's an uber competitor, hockey historian, hockey nerd, loves the game. So maybe Oliver's right. Like, you know, you would be that guy, that dog. Bringing a cup to Canada, you would be a legend forever. Bringing a cup to Vancouver, screw Canada. Bringing a cup to Vancouver, you a legend, real legend forever. Right? You never have to pay for anything in one of the most beautiful cities in the world ever again. And the whole Four Nations Cup thing too, it's like, okay, this guy's a wrist injury. And yeah, maybe I'm calling it a charity tournament. But bro, America's always been the second fiddle or third fiddle in the hockey world for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. They were great back in 1970 when they made a Disney movie, okay, The Miracle on Ice. But it's been so long until, again, they've been the hockey country of the world. And they have that opportunity, even in a charity tournament, to like, lay their claim, right? Because if they win a game like 8-1 against Canada and they win the Four Nations Cup, like Quinn Hughes is a part of that. He's part of the evolution. And it's not a good look for Canada, but for Quinn Hughes and his like hockey resume, come on. You know what I'm saying? So I want to apologize to Quinn Hughes. I do. I'm a Canucks fan first. I don't care about the charity tournament, but I'm kind of happy that you're that competitive. I'm kind of happy that you're that much of a legend of the game already. Like, maybe you need all these things to like make you better. And if that's the case, go play at the Four Nations tournament, rip it up, and bring America a championship. My name's Kyle Bowen, and I approve of that message.
There we go, Kyle. Get out of here, man. One love to you, Kyle Bowen. I want to get to one more comment here because this sparked my attention. Stefan Johansson in the comments saying, let the Sedins back on the ice. At least they are friends. How do we get to this place with PD and Miller talk and Hughes leaving? WTF? Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, Stefan, because the last couple Canucks practices that I've been to, the Sedins have been on the ice more. And I know they were in this player development role where they were actually spending more time in Abbotsford for a chunk there, helping the team develop down there. But the last game day skate I went to was last Saturday ahead of the game against the Washington Capitals. And both Sedins were out there. And in fact, Daniel Sedin and JT Miller spent about 5 minutes talking to each other on the boards. And I'm not sure what was said in that conversation, but Stefan, maybe to your point, maybe the Sedins are out on the ice more to bring the good vibes back to the Vancouver Canucks. Speaking of good vibes, now we're always going to be honest on here, but we always try to make it entertaining and bring the good vibes here on Locked On Canucks. So shout out to you and you and you and you and you for tuning in, whether you're an everydayer, an occasional listener, a first-time listener, a new subscriber, or you join us here on the live show on YouTube. We appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. If you like what we're doing, make sure you go subscribe and like on YouTube. On the podcast side, oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. Hopefully back tonight. Go Canucks, go after the game against the Dallas Stars. But for now, signing out, I'm Trevor Beggs. You've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.